So many people think they can do what a realtor does, and they throw their house on Zillow, they put it up for sale by owner, and then they do it all wrong. If you're doing it wrong too, or you're worried that you might, I'm going to share how to sell your house on your own like a pro, and we're going to get started. What's up, and welcome back to All Things Tennessee with me, Ben Barreto, your local real estate pro and relocation expert for East Tennessee. Today I want to help you sell your house like a pro. I know, a realtor helping me sell a house without a realtor, how much sense does that make? Yes, I give away tips all the time, and at the end of the day, the likelihood of you selling your house for market value without a realtor, let's be honest, according to the stats, is less than 20%. Even if you take the steps I give you. So in the event you don't sell, maybe you'll think of me, you're grateful for the help I provided, and you'll use me as a backup plan. Okay, let's get into the video. So every day I review for sale by owner listings on Zillow, and I'm blown away by some of the choices people make. I mean, if you take just a second and think about what you want to see online when you're shopping around for a house, then you would think that some of these choices that people implement are obviously bad ones. But again, you'd be surprised how many people just don't take that into consideration. It's amazing. Amazingly bad decisions. Let's take a look at the top mistakes I see on Zillow and what you should do instead of those things that people choose to do. If you only have a picture of a house, a picture of a living room, a tight shot of a master bedroom, and then a picture of a newly installed motion light above the garage, you're doing it wrong. What the hell are you thinking? If you were searching for a house and found one in your price range, the size was good, location was great, but you only saw one picture of the outside of the house and a close-up shot of a light fixture, would that be enough to keep you looking at that property, or would you be scratching your head and moving on? Hell no, you wouldn't be hanging around. I could make videos about photos, and this might turn into one, but for now, let's stick to the number of photos for now. When you post photos of a house, your one goal is to create a virtual 2D tour. A prospective buyer should be able to walk through the house by following the photos. There should be a clear picture of the layout of the rooms and even the size of the rooms when possible. At a minimum, you should have at least 20 photos of the house, starting with the front of the house from 2 or 3 angles, so that's 2 or 3 photos right there. Then work your way into the front door, and then following through, taking photos of every room as you naturally progress and walk through the house. Try to take maybe 2 angles of each room from opposite corners, and then work your way through until you're walking out the back door. And the last photo should be of the back of the house, the property itself, and if possible, maybe some aerial shots of the neighborhood and of the house. The number 2 thing that you're doing wrong is you got to stop taking pictures in portrait view. I don't expect everyone to have a DSLR camera or the money to pay a professional photographer, which is what realtors do, at least professional realtors do. However, taking great photos doesn't require an expensive camera. In fact, if you have a smartphone in your pocket that was built in the last 3, 4, 5 years, then your camera is good enough for what your purposes are. Make sure that the settings are for a wide angle shot, or as wide as possible, so that you're fitting as much of the room into the shot as possible. If you're tall, hold the camera lower. If you're short, you're probably at the right height for a good photograph angle. But you don't want bird eye views or downward angles of rooms, and unless you're shooting up from a balcony down into the living space. It just creates an awkward and unpleasant view. Most importantly, do not take portrait photos of the house. Try to take wide angle shots. No one wants to see just that set of cabinets in a kitchen. They want to see the whole kitchen. Everything should be done in landscape, and the only time you should do a portrait function on your camera if it's the only way you can get a good shot of a smaller room, like through a doorway. For example, a small hallway bathroom. And even then, it should be a last resort. Every for sale by owner listing I see on Zillow has too few photos and portrait angle photos of the house, or really tight shots of rooms in the house, so that you don't even know really what's in the room itself. You just see a very small section of it. At a minimum, if you're not capable of taking good photos, find a friend who has a kid who's taking a photography class at a community college. They could probably help you out. Unless I just described your experience, and then I don't know what you're thinking putting photos like that online. The number 3 thing is that you need to stop pricing your house higher than the neighbors. Everybody thinks that their house is worth more than the one that's sold down the street. It's not out of the ordinary to feel that way when you've lived in the house for years, you've invested money into the house, you've put things in the house that are worth a lot to you, and you've created memories there. But you have to sometimes, especially when selling a house, you have to always take a step back and think of the value that you're putting into the home and whether that translates to market value. The jacuzzi that you installed on the back deck may have been worth thousands of dollars and improved your quality of life and given you a bunch of great memories, but for the first buyer that could come in, they might want to immediately rip it out and toss it in the trash, which means it adds no value to the house in their eyes. Planting those Japanese maples or that beautiful oak tree in the front yard, or having a lot that's just slightly more level than the rest of the neighborhood does not increase the value of your home by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Additionally, when you are the most expensive house in the neighborhood, all you're doing is selling all the other houses in the neighborhood. Buyers shop for homes just like they shop for anything else, and they're looking for a bargain, or at a minimum they're looking for a product that provides the best amenities at a reasonable price. And though you think there's aspects of your house that makes you more unique, i.e. more expensive than the other houses, in fact, more than likely your house is just like all the other houses in the neighborhood. Really what you need to do, if you're not willing to get the help of a real estate professional, follow these steps. Look up the average sales price of homes in your area using comparative homes that are similar to yours. They don't have to be exactly like yours, but if they have similar square footage, same number of bedrooms, similar build, 2-story versus 1-story, etc., maybe same number of garage or garage space or no garage, and roughly the same lot size within an acre, then use those and come up with an average sales price. Alright, additionally, maybe grab some of the active homes, and all these homes should be within a specific proximity of your house, as close to possible, and only widen that to get a few more houses to use in your comparable analysis. And use those active listings as a benchmark, because at the end of the day, you don't know if those houses are going to sell for that. You just know that's what the homeowners are wanting it to sell for. Now, again, take the average of the sold homes and average them out, and then average that by the average square footage, and it'll give you roughly the price per square foot of homes in your area, and use that as a baseline for your price. Statistically, people who go for sale by owner lose money rather than get more money. So you think you're saving money by not paying commission, but at the end of the day, you're really losing even more money because you're not getting the exposure that you would get with a real estate professional, which exposure leads to more buyers, which leads to more money in your pocket when buyers are fighting over your property. Over 93% of buyers work with a buyer's agent, and buyer agents don't use Zillow to find homes for their clients. That means more than likely you're missing all those buyers that are working with real estate agents and professionals. Again, don't price your home based on the estimate that you think it is, and don't price your home just because you think it's worth more than the houses that sold in your neighborhood. Use data, use facts. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your house isn't worth more than everybody else's. And if you really want to prove that it's worth more than everyone else's, at a minimum, go get it appraised. Listen, before giving you the last few things that you should not be doing, make sure to check out last week's video where I tell you about 5 things that you should not be doing when moving from out of state. Additionally, I have another video where I go into more detail on why Zestimates are not a good way to price your house. You can check both those videos out by following a link in the description, and you can check out last week's video, what not to do when moving out of state, by clicking right here. And while you're here, make sure to give this video a like and maybe subscribe. Can you hear my dog snoring in the background? I'm sorry, he's like right here. Alright, so the 4th thing that you need to stop doing right now is stop writing an essay in the description of the Zillow ad. Listen, less is more in real estate. No one wants to spend 30 minutes reading the description of your home. They'd rather be looking at photographs and checking out the neighborhood. What you love about it and the stories you've built from your experience living there don't need to be in the description. Those are valuable to you, and I understand that. And maybe save those stories for when you meet with buyers and you're showing them around the house. You could share those stories then and use them to make a connection and build rapport and get those offers in the front door. But don't put them in the description on Zillow. People don't read through all that stuff, and more than likely they're just going to skip it. Tell people about the facts. That's about it. You don't need to go into too much detail. And in fact, the more you leave out, the better. You want them to use their imagination. You want to give them a reason to stick around, and more than anything, you want to give them a reason to come see the house in person. The ad's not what is going to sell the house. It's the buyer coming and seeing the house in person and falling in love with it is what's going to sell the house. The ad is only there to pique interest and drive traffic to your front door. So again, stop with the storytelling and give your keyboard a rest. Alright, the fifth and final thing that you need to stop doing right now is stop not offering commission to realtors. As I said before, over 93% of qualified buyers in any given market are working with a real estate professional. When you have in your ad that you're not paying commission, or if you tell a realtor that calls that you're not paying a commission, or if you tell a buyer that calls that their agent has to pay the commission, or they have to pay their commission to their agent, and in fact, then you're missing out on a lot of opportunity. Every day that goes by that you don't sell your house is a day that you're losing money, because the value of your home in the eyes of the market goes down every day it doesn't sell. If you can sell your house within a couple of weeks of it being on the market, then you're going to save money, if not make more money, not only on the expenses of owning the home, but your chances of selling it at a higher price are much better when you sell it quickly. And one of the ways of doing that is offering a commission. Even if you're just offering a small 2% commission to a realtor, it makes them feel more comfortable of selling your house. Again, the longer your house sits on the market, the more buyers are going to think that there's an opportunity for them to get the house at a discount. In addition to that, you don't want to be the seller that has been stuck at the same price for 30 days or more without making any kind of adjustments, because then you are just feeding the stereotype people have of for sale by owners, and that is that you're an unreasonable person with extremely high expectations that thinks their house is worth way more money than it really is, and that you're stubborn, and that no one wants to come around and work with a person like that. If you're just throwing your house on Zillow just to see if it'll sell for a certain price, you know, that's a different story. Obviously, I think it's a lot of work for nothing, but if you're serious about getting your home sold and you really want to do it on your own without working with a realtor, you got to at least offer some kind of compensation, because of all those buyers out there whose realtors aren't going to want to work with you. Listen, at the end of the day, it's not impossible to sell your house without a real estate professional. But if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it right. Just because we're in a seller's market does not mean that you can throw any house online with just a few photos and expect to get it sold for the highest price in your neighborhood. It's just not realistic, and you're gonna put a lot of work into the process with no reward. Obviously, at the end of the day, I think that your best bet is to hire a real estate professional. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a lot out of it, and as always, if I can do anything for you, if I can help you out, don't hesitate to give me a call. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a great day and have a great week, and I'll see you next time.